Hello, my friends. Me again, Hilda, your friend, Miss H, the Empress, coming to talk to you again about suicide and the problems and issues and stigma and everything surrounding it. And the people in need of support, the people supporting the people in need of support. And there is this concern that keeps popping up from one of my previous videos, and just making this short video to address that concern. It's not a small concern. Sometimes we as people don't know where to draw the line. Sometimes we do, but we just don't draw it correctly. Sometimes we draw it where it shouldn't be. Sometimes we just don't draw at all. But here's my story. When I said when I feel the waves coming, the pain, and it's time for me to cry, I did say that I prefer to be alone. And yes, indeed, I do that, especially on the big holidays, on my son's birthday and my birthday. But here's the thing, it just so happens that most of the time on my birthday, I'm alone. I'm a January baby. Mid-month, people's mental states are just not there. It's the cabbage month, And my son so happened to have been born in February, also mid-month. So it just so happens that I'm alone. But come Easter, Christmas, I will be with family. I'll be with my sisters and their children and their families, away somewhere sometimes. But when that time comes for me to be alone, even in the midst of family, I take myself off, find a quiet spot, deal with myself, and only when I'm okay to come back, then I do come back. I'm not by any means saying that I lock myself in the house throughout the festive season, or lock myself throughout Easter or any other family gathering. I do attend gatherings a lot, like you can never believe. But here's the thing with me. I do not want to be in a space where people will say, oh, come on, you're supposed to be having fun. It's been 6 long years. I mean, can't you just snap out of it? I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to have to deal with anything of that sort. I think my family understands that by now. So even during the holidays, when I disappear, they know that she's found her own little corner. She will cry it out, and then she will come back to us. They understand that much. They don't try to stop me. Another thing is, I also try not to create a situation where I'm scared to be on my own. There will be a time when I'm feeling down and low, and there is nobody physically to be with me. There are counselors that you can get hold of online. Sometimes I just want to do me, all on my own. I think over the 6 years, I've figured out more about myself than ever before. I kind of know what works for me, what doesn't work for me. So that's just how I do the things I do. But for those who don't feel like being alone, those who don't want to be alone, if they do have somebody, by all means, please do. You don't have to do things the way I do. I'm hardcore. Yeah, I'm a tiger. I've learned that about myself. I've figured myself out in so many ways that I never thought were possible. So I do my own things my own way. If it's time for me if I feel the emotions build up, I deal with them and I let them out. And then I carry on with life. I don't want a situation where any of you will feel compelled to be on your own, on your birthday, alone, because you think it's the right thing to do or because I recommend it. I don't. I don't. It's just what works for me as an individual. It's just what I figured works for me. And it's worked well for me thus far. But it should at any given time feel like I don't want to be alone, or I shouldn't have to be, or I would rather be elsewhere, then I will be elsewhere. I will be with other people. I will just not be alone. So it's good for me to have those options. If I feel like being alone, then I can. If I don't want to be, then I won't be. So a lot of people have written to me with that concern to say, how can you encourage this? But please note, I'm not encouraging anybody to be on their own. If you don't feel like it, please don't. If you want to be with someone and they are available to be with you, please feel free. As for me, I just have that feeling that I also don't want people to feel like dampening their mood. If they are rejoicing, and I'm not in that space, I'm not in that mood, I pull myself away. I come back when I'm fine. I don't want to hear somebody say, oh, please, snap out of it. It's been a long time. You're supposed to be able to handle yourself and wear your big girl panties. And that's not me. I do my own thing in my own way. My grief is my own personal journey. I deal with it the best way that suits me. But if you feel like you can do it, you need people around you, by all means. Just I just don't want to be dependent on people in such a way that I'm afraid to be alone. There comes that time in everybody's life when you have to be alone, whether you like it or you don't. So if it's not that time for you, then it's not. Don't take my advice. Don't do what I'm not advising anybody to be alone by any means. But what I'm saying is do what works for you. If it's Christmas time and you want to be in the midst of people and you are feeling heavy in your heart, you're feeling heavy, you are overburdened, if it's people that are willing to listen, offload. And just be careful who you share with. Otherwise, there's counselors that do this work online. Even if time forces you to be alone, there are people that are willing to listen. Just take advantage of them, call them, talk to them, and offload. There is no real reason why you should be carrying all of the burden by yourself. It is not good for you. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your healing process. So for you to heal, it's a long, complicated journey, but you have to find what works for you. So the lonesomeness is a silly idea, but it works for me. It has given me a lot of time to reflect on me, on my behavior, on how I've taken things and how to carve my journey going forward. So that is just me. But another thing that I've picked up from the comments that I'm receiving via DM from people I didn't even know had my contacts. Twitter people, good investigators, undercover cops. They've uncovered me. But here it goes.